about is they were able to overcome that adversity. They didn't allow that to become the story of the game where all of a sudden you lose a game that you're supposed to win. And like you mentioned, as a good team, which I think the Browns are a good team right now, you've got to win those Houston Texans, those games against the teams that are on your schedule that are set up to be an automatic W. The things that I didn't like, obviously, you shouldn't be playing the Texans that close. I don't care if your emotional leader on offense gets injured early in the game. You got to be able to find that life and that energy, no matter if it's under the lights on Sunday Night Football, no matter if it's against the Chiefs or the Ravens, or if it's a team like the Jaguars or the Texans that you feel like you're better than. Like, they need to be able to find a way to get up and play the same no matter who's on the schedule.
You know, I said this about Lamar Jackson. If we called it playmaker and not quarterback, we just called the position playmaker, which increasingly, Joe, it's becoming that. The rules are now allowing more space. You can't hit the quarterback. Then we would look at Lamar Jackson and go, oh, yeah, the playmaker. Yeah, that. But I do think he's different. We don't like our quarterbacks moving around. We've never seen anything quite like Lamar. But I watched them last night, and I thought, well, there's a reason they had 36 minutes time of possession. He kept making plays on third down, and Mahomes became a spectator. So I really like Lamar. He's different, but I am totally behind Lamar. What is your interpretation of what you see and how it would be to game plan for him?
Well, he's really difficult because if you look at what the Chiefs have done successfully against Lamar in the last few times against him, they blitzed him a lot, right? So last night in the game, the Chiefs blitzed him almost 50% of the time, but he was able to make those plays in those big moments while he was getting blitzed on third down with the incredible ability to throw the football while he's jumping through the air, he's turning the wrong direction and finding the guy to make that big play. And additionally, he overcame a really bad start to that game. I mean, he had 2 interceptions. One was a pick six in the beginning of that game, and he was able to put that in a box. And to me, that's a championship mentality that not a lot of players have, especially at that quarterback position. It would have been really easy for him to just go in the tank and think, you know what, this is a running team that is built on defense and running the football. We don't have a chance to come back. I'm not playing my best game, and just kind of mail it in. But what he did is he put that bad start in a box. He threw it away, and he led his team, and he willed everybody to play better and find the best in themselves to go out and win against the best team in the AFC right now. And that was a really impressive performance, and it showed a lot of growth for me watching Lamar Jackson. And like you said, he has a lot of fun when he's out there.
You know, there are certain things I don't believe you can coach out of a player, and I'll give you one. Indifference. Nothing against Ben Simmons. He'll never love the game like the late Kobe Bryant did. He just doesn't. I mean, Jay Cutler, he'll never love the game like Russell Wilson does. I don't think indifference. A guy either loves the game or he likes the game. And the other thing is reckless. Carson Wentz is reckless. He knows he's had injuries, and he is literally can never live for another play. And I watched him yesterday, Joe, and I think, I'm not sure you can coach this out of him. He knows his injury history. He knows Aaron Donald's across the way. He doesn't care. And did you ever play with guys that just, it's their personality, it's their genetic or DNA makeup. That's who they are.
Yeah, that's what we keep talking about with Carson Wentz, right? There's an injury history there that you want to think that he's going to grow over time and understand, hey, maybe I shouldn't be taking some of these hits. Maybe I need to get rid of the football. Maybe instead of lowering my shoulder and trying to take on a DB in the secondary, maybe I need to run out of bounds. Like, having that self-awareness is so important. And I was disappointed because as a guy who doesn't put on a helmet anymore in the NFL, I'm never going to question a current player's toughness. But I think he had a great opportunity to win that locker room over last night by going out there and gutting through the ankle injury for a couple more series and winning the game for his team. Like, he would have gained a tremendous amount of respect in that locker room had he done that. Even if he had gone out and showed that he couldn't perform at the same level and he lost the game, I think he earns a lot of respect. But when you take yourself out of a game, or the trainers did, whatever happened, and you're not able to finish and you stand on the sideline, there's going to be a lot of players in that locker room that are going to be looking around that have a lot of hurt themselves that are thinking, hey man, I was able to gut through to try to help my team win, and I didn't see that same level of commitment from you. And so now he's kind of got to deal with a little bit of that in the locker room. And for a guy that just got there, that was a golden opportunity that was missed.
Joe Thomas, at Joe Thomas 73 on his Twitter account. By the way, Thursday Night Football, Panthers, Texans, exclusively on the NFL Network. Joe will be working that. I want to talk about the Steelers' offensive line. So there are things that get better over the course of a season, right? We know that young players get better. But I've always said the offensive line is difficult because chemistry is such a part of it. And it's a bye week really reshaped the offense last year for the Buccaneers. Hard to correct an offensive line over a bye week, right? Because it's not live bullets. So I look at the Steelers' offensive line and I think it ain't good. It's a rebuild. You tell me, can that O-line for Pittsburgh, Joe, make significant steps throughout the course of this year?
No, because being a great offensive lineman and being a great offensive line is about the number of reps that you have together. It's like a golf swing. You're not going to walk out there and all of a sudden one day on the range make a tremendous amount of progress, because it's about doing the same thing over and over again. Because the technique that an offensive lineman uses is not natural. It's not throwing the football. It's not running. It's not tackling. It's not doing things that you've done since you were 3 years old. These are learned skills and learned traits, and it takes a lot of time to build those traits up. That's why we don't see a lot of guys coming from college anymore being great rookie year, second year, third year in the NFL, because it takes a lot of reps and they're not getting that in the college game. So for the Steelers to think that their offensive line is going to make tremendous leaps and bounds as the season goes on, I just don't think it's going to happen. And when you look at Ben Roethlisberger and the great success that he had with the Steelers, a lot of times it was built on, they had a great defense always, but they also had a really good running game.
Yeah.
And he was able to shake off the would-be sackers and throw down the field at a tremendous rate. We were always so afraid when we played him of the times where we had a free hit on him and he was able to get free and he would chuck the ball 60 yards down the field to Antonio Brown, and all of a sudden that was their explosive play. Well, because they can't run the football and Big Ben doesn't have the arm to get it down the field anymore, they're really just relying on short passes and playing great defense, which, as you saw yesterday, that's not exactly a formula that's winning football in the NFL week in and week out like maybe they used to when it was the Steelers of old.
The only offensive lineman to ever make 10 straight Pro Bowls. He'll be a Hall of Famer in 2023. Joe Thomas, at Joe Thomas 73. Watch him on Thursday Night Football. Joe, as always, love your insight, especially on the AFC North, my man. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me, Colin.
You bet. Knows his stuff and certainly knows that division inside and out.